So my thesis, remember, is that states routinely violate fundamental constitutional rights in the context of determining custody following divorce. Well, I told you I'm a retired philosophy professor, and our stock in trade is arguments. So here's my argument. Parental rights are fundamental constitutional rights. That's the first premise. Second, it's a violation of the US Constitution for a state to interfere with fundamental constitutional rights unless doing so is necessary to achieve a compelling state interest that can't be achieved in any less constitutionally offensive way. That's a mouthful, but the point is simply that you're not allowed to infringe on fundamental constitutional rights unless it's really necessary for the state to do so, and there's no other way for them to achieve this important state interest without violating those rights. The third premise is that in determining the constitutional rights of divorcing parents, states routinely suspend or deny parental rights without any serious evidence that this is necessary to achieve a compelling state interest. And the conclusion then is my thesis. In determining the custodial rights of divorcing parents, state courts routinely violate the US Constitution. Okay, well, what are these parental rights that we talk about? Well, here's a list. This is a pretty standard list of parental rights. It's not intended to be exhaustive. There may be other things that we want to add to it, but these are some of the core rights that we think constitute parental rights. The right to physical possession of the child. The right to inculcate the child in one's own moral and ethical standards, including the right to discipline the child. The right to control and manage the minor child's earnings and property. And if your children are like mine, they didn't have any earnings or property for you to control. The right to have the child bear the parent's name. The right to prevent adoption of the child without the parent's consent. The right to make decisions concerning the medical treatment, education, religious training, and other activities of the minor child. And finally, the right to the information necessary to exercise the above rights responsibly. So that's a cluster of rights that we think are part of what it is to have parental rights over a child.